All right, so welcome to Team Inspired. This is our week 2 training. And excuse me, I'm going to start this call talking about action. And I want you guys to get in the habit of asking yourself at the end of each day, at the end of each week, at the end of each month, how much action did I take? And this is something that's really important for me in my business because I tend to get caught up doing stuff like trainings and doing stuff like creative stuff. I like putting stuff together. I like the coaching booklets, that kind of stuff. And that stuff is really important, and it's great to be able to provide that for my team. But where I can sometimes get stuck is I can spend so much time doing stuff like that, or watching trainings, or reading a personal development book, that I didn't spend enough time actually doing the activities. And so I want you, sometimes you'll have a day where you feel really tired and you're like, I worked so much today, but I want you to go back and look at that day and ask yourself, how much action did I take? And by action, think the word activity. And there's fundamental activities in this business, whether you started today as a coach or you are 5 years in as a coach. Those fundamental activities should always be a part of your business. So what are those activities? It starts with the very first vital behavior, which is to invite, invite, invite. So get in the habit every single day to ask yourself, did I take any action today? Whether it's one person, 2 people, 3 people, 10 people, whatever it is, how much of your day was spent doing action? Okay, so let's talk about last week's assignment. Your assignment was to send me a list of 100 people. And the very top of that list was your dirt list. So it's 100 contacts that you know, and the very top are the people, the dirt list. Those are people like your sister, your mother, your neighbor, maybe that you've known for years. People that are going to buy from you, even if you were selling dirt, just to support you. So I want you to reach out to those people if you haven't already. And I want you to use the script that I gave you guys last time. If you don't remember what it is, it went something along the lines of, hey, sis, I'm involved in a new business that I'm really excited about. It's all about helping people with their health and fitness goals. And I would like you to be one of my first customers so you can give me your honest feedback and help me grow as a coach. If after a month of trying this product, it's not something that you like, I'm never going to ask you to purchase again. Do you think you could do that for me? Okay, so something along those lines. That's your dirt list. You're not going to send that message to anybody else. Those are just those people in your life that are going to do it to support you. Okay. I want you guys to message your dirt list folks. I'm going to give you a whole week because I know we've got a holiday coming up. The good news is you might see some of these people on your holiday, so you can actually have the conversation in person. But if that doesn't work out that way, let's put a whole week for that dirt list, okay? The second thing that I told you to do was to finish that list up to 100. We don't have 100 people on our dirt list. That's kind of impossible to have 100 people on your dirt list. So all the other people are just people that you know. And with those people, you just want to do a simple invite. And in the book you guys are getting from me, there are 2 different types of invites that you can send. So hopefully you'll have that in the next couple of days. I can post a link on our page as well, but I don't want to go over every single invite right now because it's easier just for you guys to see it. And I want you to start reaching out to those people. You are going to get a power hour, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. I would say start with 10 invites a day. If you guys put out your list of 100 and you just start trying to tackle this list of 100, you're going to get really overwhelmed. And it's going to feel like, oh my gosh, when am I going to stop? When do I respond back to people? So just shoot for 10 people a day. And then after you finish your 10, if you feel like, oh, that was super easy, I want to do some more, then you can always go and double that or add a few more to that list. Okay, I'm going to take a little break off of the inviting, and I want to talk about our brain book that you guys bought, okay? So here's what we're going to do with our brain book. If you have it, you can do it now. If not, you can just watch me, and then I'll have this video posted so you can follow along later. The very first section in your brain book, I don't have it on here, but my very first coaching book that's down here, I did do this. So on the inside cover, I want you guys to write your why. Some of you have already told me your why. I want you guys to write it down on the inside of your book, because when you're using your brain book, that is what is going to drive you to keep going. Then on the very first page, you are going to put a little tab and you are going to write across the top potentials or potential customers, okay? And just depending on the kind of person you are, I just took like a little chunk with my hands, but if you want to count out how many pages and make it perfect, you can, but don't stress these things. Just grab a little section and then you're going to go to section number 2 and you're going to put another tab. I would say this first section is maybe, I don't know, like 1/3 of an inch, maybe something like that. Second section is going to be your daily peeps list. Daily peeps list. All right, that one's gonna be a little bit thicker. Mine is actually kind of thin and I'm running out, so I regret not making it thicker. So make that one a little bit thicker than the other one. And then your next section is going to be coach potentials. Coach potentials. Okay, we're gonna leave it at that for now. So just 3 sections, and we can add more sections later on depending on what we, what else we decide to do. I've got a couple more in mind, but they're not really gonna pertain to you guys yet. So those are the first 3 sections. It's okay if you have a lot of extra space in the back because we will use that for other stuff down the road. Anybody that you have talked to at any point that shows interest in joining a group, even if they don't join, if they show any interest at all, I want you to write their name down on this potentials. So interest would be something along the lines of they comment on one of your posts and they say, give me more info. Or it's someone that you run into at a friend's house and they say, oh my gosh, you're a fitness coach? I need to talk to you. Their name is going to go down here. Sometimes it helps to say where you've talked to them, like whether it's IG or Facebook, because every now and then I'll look at a name and I'm like, oh, who is this person, right? And the more you talk to people, the more you'll meet people from different channels. So every single person that's ever shown interest, you're gonna write their name down over here. The daily peeps list, when you do a post that has to do with either health and fitness or coaching, I want you to write the people who liked your post down on a sheet of paper. Now, don't write every single person down. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take one of those posts, the workout, fitness, or coaching posts, and let's say you're looking at your power hour and you're going, I don't know which 10 people I'm gonna invite. Like I've already gone through my list of 100 contacts. I'm not sure who to message. You're gonna take out one of your daily peeps lists and you're gonna write down all the people that liked your post that had to do with health and fitness or coaching. And I like to go back to a post from like 2 to 3 days ago, because if I do a post from the morning, people might still be liking it. And if I fill up a whole piece of paper, that's 26 names. So if you want to stop at 10, that's fine. If you want to keep going, that's fine. It's totally up to you. I'm going to send them this message and you're going to get this word track in your booklet. But this message is going to sound like this. Hey, Jen, I wanted to say thank you for all the post love and support. I hope you find my page inspirational. Then you're going to have a closing question. The question can be one of 2 and you can pick whatever you like. I like to say, how is your day going? If the person is a stranger. That's it. Hey Jen, thank you so much for the post love and support. I hope that you find my page inspirational. How is your day going? Now, if I've talked to the person before, let's say I've messaged them before or it's someone I know, I might change that last line and instead of saying, how is your day going, I'll say something along the lines of, are you on a health and fitness journey as well? Okay. Now, if I keep running across the same person and they keep liking my stuff, the second or third time I see them, I'm going to change that message and I'm going to say something along the lines of, hey, your name popped up again, and I want to say thank you again for all of the support. By the way, I'm working on my next health and fitness challenge group. Are you interested in learning more? Okay. Now, the last tab, that one that says coach interest, is for anyone that has ever shown interest in coaching. You might have people that show up on your potentials list and your coach interest list because they could fall in one or two places. Like Jen, for example, when Jen and I first spoke, we originally talked about coaching, and then I found out she was a customer. So she kind of was on two of my lists. So that's totally fine that someone would pop up on both of your lists. I'm going to tell you guys, if you grow your potential list and you make sure every time someone shows interest, you write their name down, at the end of every month when I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm scrambling, I need like 3 more people, if I go back to this list and I search through it, there's always someone in here that I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally just like slipped my mind. I need to follow up with this person. Or I did follow up, but we never quite finished the convo. Like this right here is my gold mine. If someone on the list purchases, I either highlight their name or I cross them off. No one else gets taken off. Even if if they stop responding to me for 10 months, I'm still going to keep them on this list because I'm going to follow up with them. The only way your name's going to get taken off this list is if you say you hate me and you never want me to talk to you again, then I'll probably take you off. Or if you join me as a customer, okay? But I've never had anyone say that, so everybody stays on the list. So that's what we're going to do with our brain book. Any questions on that, guys?
No, sounds good.
Yeah, okay, awesome, good. Okay, I'm going to share screen, and then I'm going to show you guys a few things that I think are going to help you guys out. So hang tight for a moment. Okay. So a couple of things here. Some of you have already been getting these, some of you have not, but you're gonna start getting them. And that's a series of new coach emails that you guys are gonna get from me, okay? And these emails, of course my Gmail isn't working as I say this, which is really weird. Come on. Okay, there we go. These emails come in batches and they're distributed in a certain order, and they're for new coaches. A lot of times when you get these emails, let me find the new coach emails, it might not pertain to you in that moment, but I want you guys to make a separate folder and hold on to these emails because you're going to be looking for them at some point, and it's going to be helpful that you have them. For example, as a new coach, if you haven't gotten these, you will get it. You should have or will be receiving this new coach checklist. Now, this new coach checklist is included in the book that I'm sending you. But the reason this is so important to have in an email is because all of these links are active. So in a book, you're not going to be able to click on anything. For example, it'll say check out the Team Inspired files. You can click on here. It'll say sign up for text reminders of the National Wake Up Call, and it tells you how to do that. Check out the events page, it has a link to the Coach Online office, a link to your store. It has a link to the Coach FAQ, which is the best place to get any information on any product or even like compensation questions. It has a link to the Beachbody Champions page. It has a link to my YouTube channel where all my old trainings can be found, and the Beachbody Champions channel, and a link to my website. So there's a lot of really good content here. And what I want you to think about is this isn't just good for you, but if you save this email and then you sign a coach up, you can use this exact same email for your new coach. And you can even forward it and add a couple sections for yourself if you like, if there's something that I missed that you want to include for your coach. So saving these emails is important. Let's see what other ones you guys are going to get. There's a Facebook basics email that I will send you, and it's got video for me recording basic stuff for new coaches, but there's a lot of really good tips in here that I think even an experienced coach could benefit from. You're gonna get, let's see, a whole email about how to hit, where is it? I don't know why it's not popping. I think I'm popping up too many emails on one here. But there's a whole series of emails, and I want you guys to please try and save those, make a separate folder for Beachbody and save those. I also want to show you a link to a Google Drive. Jen, I know that you don't love Google Drives, and I will add these to my website, but for now, we're going to use a Google Drive. 2018 goals, we'll add all of these files to my website. Okay, so you're going to get a link to a Google Drive called Coaching Docs, okay? And there's 3 files inside. There's Coach Tools, and it's got a bunch of word tracks for you, more word tracks than what you're going to get in the booklet. This has a ton of other word tracks. Directions on how to sell a challenge pack. This is so cool, you guys. Check this out. Fit Tip Posts. It's a file, and this was created by a top coach, with a bunch of ideas on how to do some fitness-related posting. This is the #1 coach in Beachbody right here, Melanie Mitro. So it's got tons of ideas, especially if you sign a new coach and they're not, too social media savvy. This document kind of walks you through what to do. There's a bunch of, posts on how to talk about coaching in the right way. So in a way that attracts people to your post rather than, makes them nervous. So there's a bunch of examples of some great posts that you can do. Now, you never want to copy these posts. You just want to get ideas from them. Okay, so let's go back here. There's a new coach folder. This personal outreach word track. Remember how I told you guys what you should message your dirt list? That's typed up over here for you as well. So if you didn't write it down or you want to see it written, it's right in this document. So this entire drive, it's got info on Shakeology for you, and I can keep adding stuff, and that link will constantly update for you guys. Okay, I'm going to do another little tutorial for you of the Coach Back Office. Now, if you have not been to your Coach Back Office, I want you guys to make a point to do this, okay? I want you guys to take a trip to the back office and just start playing around over here at all the tabs. And then I want you to look at these last 2 tabs over here. There's the training tab, which has so much information that you can play around in. Now, I don't want you guys to get caught up spending your life in here because I don't think training is going to be what's going to make you successful right now. But I want you to be able to navigate if you do need something. Like, let's say someone says, I want info on Shakeology, to go to product training, and there's all sorts of info on the nutrition facts and, what are the ingredients and that kind of stuff. The other place that's really important is support. And the reason support is a really important place for you to go is because that's where the FAQ is. And that's going to teach you to feel independence. As a coach, you want to feel that you have the power to get answers, that you don't always have to rely on someone else to give you the answers. And FAQ is the first place you should start with any question. You can contact Beachbody Relations if any of your customers have a problem, or let's say you're having an issue and you can't locate a customer, or you have a question about your compensation. And then there's all sorts of forms and documents that you can fill out. And I just want you to kind of check this out, get a feel for what's back here, okay? Now I gotta find a way to get back to you guys. This is always what stumps me on Zoom. Here we go. Stop share. Okay. So I wanna go back and list a couple action items before I hand this over to Jen, who's gonna talk about another topic I'm really excited about. So #1, I want us to focus on taking action and activity. So I want you guys to reach out to everybody on your dirt list by next week's call. And next week's call will be on, do you guys like Tuesday or Wednesday better? Or does it not matter?
Probably Wednesday. It doesn't really matter, honestly.
Not too much? Okay. Well, Wednesday's the original day. So we'll move it back to Wednesday next week. So hit your dirt list by Wednesday. And then you should be getting your booklets, but if for some reason you don't have them, I'm gonna load the Power Hour document. Starting Monday, I want you guys to use that Power Hour document. So this is assignment number 2. Starting Monday, use your Power Hour document 5 out of 7 days of the week. That whole entire thing, and I tested it out myself, should not take you more than 30 minutes. It's not even a whole Power Hour, to be honest. Now, the follow-ups might take longer, but everything else on that list, obviously your workout doesn't count as part of that hour or 30 minutes, right? Like you have to check it off, but that workout is separate. But it really shouldn't take you more than that much time, and then you can spend the second half hour doing your follow-up. So I want you guys to start using your Power Hour Monday, Tuesday. I don't care which 5 days you pick. If Saturday, Sunday is easier for you than a couple weekdays, then that's totally up to you. For me, when I first started this business, Saturday and Sundays were awesome days for me to work on my business. So a couple weekdays, especially Mondays, it was like, no way. That's a really tough day for me with work. But 5 out of every 7 days. And I want you guys to, at the end of each week, either let's not say either. You're going to post a picture of your Power Hour on our page of it completed for 5 days of every 7. Okay. So that'll start next week. And I want you to go ahead and finish your brain book. So all you have to do is just do the little markers that I taught you. And that's it for now. That's it for today's training and to carry on through the week. One other thing I want you guys to be aware of is I am going to be posting some stuff on the New Coach training page. So try to get in the habit of checking it. There might be a couple things I want you to look at. I'm going to be super respectful of the fact that it's Thanksgiving and you're not going to hear from me Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Holidays are really important to me because I did work for a company where I very rarely had a holiday. And so I want to make sure that we don't work on those days, or unless you want to do something, you can, but it's not coming from me. But outside of those 4 days, please make sure to check the page because I will have some daily action items for you guys. Okay. Any questions before I hand the screen over to Jen?
I don't think so.
You guys are good? All right. Okay, so I'm going to share screen again and pull something up that Jen had introduced me to, and I felt that it was, oh, and this is actually the wrong one. Hold on. I felt was perfect timing for this new group, and I think it's really going to help as we navigate from brand new coach to going through these activities. Okay, so let me find my training first of all. Where is it? Okay, can everybody see the screen? You don't have to read what's on there. Jen's going to explain all that. All right, Jen, you want to take it away?
Yes, awesome. So I am going to go over, I think, something that is so important to learn and understand, especially when you're new. And it's called the emotional cycle of sales. And I'm going to go through each of these stages that is a natural process that everyone goes through. And then at the end, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about how to stay committed to your goal. So there's always an emotional cycle that you go through in any type of sales, and really, I think anything in life, we go through the circle of emotions throughout the day, especially ladies. And so the first stage, I want you to go back to the first day that you ordered your challenge pack as a brand new coach. The first stage of the emotional cycle is excitement. So when you're in this stage, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to start. You're just like telling everyone what you're doing. All you think about is all the awesome things you can do, like the goals you have, the rewards you can get. You're following everyone's IG stories, top coaches. I mean, just everything to you is just like, you can't wait for your challenge pack to come in. I mean, everything is just like cloud nine. Like nothing could go wrong in your day. Like you're just positive, you're motivated, you have really big goals, you have people believing you. I mean, it's just like everything's awesome. And so through that stage, you're probably getting your first few challenge packs sold. you might be hitting Success Club, you know, you're reaching some of those very first goals and you're like, wow, this is great. This is smooth sailing. I'm loving life. Then you get to the next stage. And one thing before I go through this stage I want to tell you guys is the goal of sharing this is, first of all, so that you can have self-awareness, that when you hit some of these stages that you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm crazy, there's something wrong with me, like it's completely normal. But what I want to do is show you guys the goal is to learn how to get yourself through the cycles of emotion very quickly. So when you think about a top coach compared to a brand new coach, and I've heard it said in a lot of different avenues, but a major difference between someone who's new or someone who hasn't reached a level of success and the people that are most successful, especially like millionaires and billionaires and just people at the top of their game, the biggest difference is not because they know everything necessarily. It's because they have taught themselves how to get through this emotional cycle faster than you. That's it. So they even people at the top, these stages that I'm going to tell you, even top coaches go through these. And you could go through these like many times in a day or many times in a week. So I did want to give you guys that little bit of info. So stage 2 is called the frustration stage. At this stage, this is when you're going to start to get objections in any form. You're going to start to feel like everyone's telling me no. You start to feel defeated because you're reaching out and no one seems excited anymore. You're getting overwhelmed. I see at this stage a lot of times when we're excited, we're being very proactive. So we're proactively doing invites. We're proactively doing our daily behaviors. We're working out. We're eating healthy. Once you hit the frustration stage, what will happen is you'll go into reactive mode rather than proactive mode. So you wake up and instead of going, okay, I'm not going to even look at my phone when I wake up, you're on your phone and you're starting to respond. Like you're in bed and you're working. Like you're like looking at messages. Who do I need to respond to? And then like someone's texting you, oh my gosh, like Shakeology is not working for me. My stomach's hurting. I mean, just literally like the first moment you wake up, you just have all this stuff thrown at you and you're just completely frustrated. Once you're in the frustration stage, well then when you're frustrated, typically the very next thing that's going to happen because you're mad is doubt. When doubt creeps in, that's when you start to lose all the confidence that you had. You're like, okay, this isn't working. I'm not having fun anymore. At this stage, sometimes you might naturally want to just place blame. So you might say, you know what? My coach did not tell me it was going to be this hard. She made it seem so exciting, so awesome. She did not tell me that people were going to, tell me no. And also when you're doubting, you might be like, why am I even doing this? Like, why am I putting myself through this? Especially, when you're frustrated, you're like, no one wants to be frustrated. No one wants to feel bad. So a lot of times the doubt is going to tell you like, this isn't fun anymore. I don't want to do it. You get through doubt. This is called creative avoidance stage. So if you ever find yourself doing things that you maybe don't do often, like just very random things, like maybe you don't like decorating, but all of a sudden on Thursday, instead of doing, your invites or your reach outs, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm going to go decorate my house. Like you find yourself doing things that like aren't even normally what you do, or maybe you just decide to do the laundry all day, or like you do a marathon of This Is Us. I mean, we've all been there. Like there was one time I was, watching Desperate Housewives for like 2 days in a row. And then I realized like I am definitely in creative avoidance mode. So you're going through that. You're just kind of going through the motions because at that point you're just like, you know what? I don't even want anything to do with this stupid stuff that makes me mad. So I'm just going to do something that makes me feel good until you'll start doing everything but what you should do. And also it's when you'll start finding yourself making excuses, and your excuses are amazing. We've all done it, well, I need this time for myself. Like, I've been working really hard. I've been pushing really hard. So, I just need to kind of do this thing for me. After a few days though, what's very interesting is naturally as humans, we are very naturally goal driven. So if you're not going after something and you stop and you do creative avoidance, what I find is after a few days, you kind of start to miss it. It's weird because it's just human nature to have something in front of you. And when you don't, you're like, I don't know what to do anymore. And so typically at that point, you're like, all right, enough is enough. Like you hit the recommitment stage. You're like, all right, enough of this, like TV show watching, avoiding, doubting, frustration. Like there's a reason I was doing this. Maybe you have an aha moment. Maybe you just happen to jump on a Beachbody Champions call, or you're on a weekly call and something someone says on the call, like really just gives you that aha moment. And you're like, oh my gosh, like this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And you're like, I'm committed, I'm doing this, let's do it. And then you go right to take action and you go back into the excitement stage. So like I said, at first, these stages might happen in a longer period. So it might be like a few days of excitement, a few days of frustration, a few days of doubt, and it might cycle kind of slow. But the goal is to be really self-aware of when you hit a certain stage that you can quickly, like literally within that moment or within that hour, just go, okay, where am I at right now? How am I feeling? Like, okay, what do I need to do? And I think the biggest thing, especially when you're in the first 3 stages, like frustration, doubt, and avoiding what you need to be doing, is number one, reach up to the person that is above you, your coach that's above you, because believe, we've been there. We have 100% been in each of these stages, and it might be something that you can talk to us, we can help walk you through it, and you're like, all right, I've got this. So what I thought would be really important and to share next is, okay, so now that you know the emotions that you can go through, can any of you guys relate, first of all, to any of these stages? Have you seen yourself go through all of them? Do you feel like you're stuck in a certain one? And if you are, feel free to ask questions. But what are your guys' thoughts on the different stages? And has there been anything that you've done to help get you through them? Or do you have questions specifically about any of them before I go on to how to stay committed?
I feel like I went through these 1,000 times in the last 2.5 years. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even sometimes it's not just like whether or not I question my role as a coach. Like I'm past that, I'm here forever. I love this. But sometimes I feel like when you were talking about it, I was like, I went through that just for one goal, even like my elite goal. Like, do I really need to do this? Is it really that important? Like, so what if I don't hit? Like, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I killing myself over this goal? There's a lot of coaches who don't hit until, later. Like, that's like that doubt creeping in. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, up until even like the last minute, I think I went through it.
Yeah, it's so crazy because, I mean, you can literally go through it. Like, there's probably days that I go through this wheel like 10 times in a day. Where it's like, I'm so excited. Like I wake up, I'm so excited. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone said no. So I'm really frustrated. And then I'm like, why am I doing this? Like literally, and this little 1 minute message, I would say would be more geared towards women. But what I will tell you is if you are in the frustration or the doubt or any moments where you're feeling overwhelmed, I forget where I learned this at some training I was at one time. And I was always like, that's so brilliant. But there's always 3 things. You do like a you ask yourself like 3 questions, and it is, am I hungry? Am I tired? Am I hormonal? Because typically if you go through frustration a lot, you feel overwhelmed a lot, you feel just exhausted, stressed, defeated, any of those, it typically will tie back. And if it doesn't, then it might just be, something else. But a lot of times it's like, oh, and there's times where you're like, oh no, I'm like all 3. And then you're like, no wonder I feel like it's a crazy person. So, but that always helps me, like when I'm just like, why, like, there's times where you just kind of feel lost, and then I'll be like, okay, when's the last time I ate? And, did I get a lot of sleep last night? And, am I hormonal? So, okay, so you're going through these emotional cycles. The thing that is going to help the most for you to get through these faster is to understand what it means to stay committed to your goal. Because if you don't have a clear goal and you don't have a vision in front of you or why, like Z talked about, like really writing out your why in the front of your book. What I would recommend for you guys to do when you do your why is to print out pictures that connect to your why. You need to have vision, not just a word, but like pictures. If your why is your kid, you have a picture of your kid. If you're married, if it's, vacations, travel, whatever the things that motivate you and excite you. The number one thing I would say is have a vision board. If you guys don't have a vision board, I think it's really important to make one big one every year, but then like every few months you have like little mini ones of like your mini goals. But that was pivotal for me when I first started making vision boards, because every day you wake up and a vision board would have, for example, mine had like the trips I'd like to take, the travel, different prizes and rewards, find out all the things you can earn as a Beachbody coach, but then also personal things. Like, you want to take a certain trip? Do you want to buy something for yourself whenever you reach a certain goal? Then you have those pictures in front of you. And I know Z has hers in her bathroom, her vision board. So every morning when she wakes up, she's like washing her face and like it's just always staring at you. And that helps so much, especially when you're frustrated, because, we work from home primarily. But, if you're going in the bathroom and you're not having a good day, but then you go in there and you see that in front of you, you're like, all right, like, not giving up on you, beach. There's like the vacation, it just is like a little reminder of like, okay, my goal is bigger than this. So the number one thing would be have a clear goal and create a vision board. So no matter how big or small, whether it's the big poster, it's in your bathroom. I mean, if I would do anything, I would at least start in your book, for this week. Put some pictures out that inspire you, pull out some magazines, just find cool things that you really love that keep you excited. Number two is revisit your goals daily. Again, it has to do with just having it constantly in front of your face. You want to have long-term goals, like a year from now, here's what I want. You want to have short-term goals, 3 to 6 months from now, here's what I want. And then you want to have like really short, like a month from now. Your daily of what you're looking for is, and we can even show you guys how to break down your goals into like, okay, what do I want for the month? What do I want for the week? Because I think it's really important to have a very specific daily action, which is what Z went over.
A whole section on, I think it's daily and monthly in there. No, and it has 2018 goals too. So we'll do that as part of our, when you guys get your books, we'll probably have one of the calls like dedicated just for that section.
Yeah, and I mean, really, your daily is going to connect right back to what she just talked about. 10 invites, doing your workout, drinking your shake, following up. I mean, those are probably going to be your daily goal. And depending on your goal, you might do more, you might do, that amount. Just really depends. So we can help customize it just for you. But every morning, I have a book that I have my goals written in, and just like every morning, the first thing I do is I just look at them. So just have it in front of you every day. The third thing is routine. Set routines, create daily habits. It takes 21 days to create a habit. I actually reached out to Z today, and I was actually going through creative avoidance today. Can you guys imagine that? Like, that is where I was. I'm like, right now I'm at the mall, and I'm shopping, and I don't really know what I need to be doing. Like, for whatever reason, I'm just like I don't know, out of it. And so she was like, I was telling her, I'm like, it's weird because like I work out every day without an issue. I'm drinking my shake. I'm having my water. I'm eating healthy. I'm doing my invites. I was thinking of all these things that used to be not habits that I was really having to work towards, but now I'm doing it without any problem. And the one thing that I wasn't doing was what I was avoiding, which was just doing some follow-ups. And so she really helped me, even me, to break it down, because I had a list of 100 people I need to follow up. So it was overwhelming me, and so I was avoiding it. So she was like, take that list and break it down and start with 15 and do that. So even, whenever you're in those moments, just reach up, because, it's just nice to have, okay, all right, that's what I need to do. So I left the mall, I got in my car, and I came home. So routines are really important, and it does take 21 days to create a habit. So if there's something you're doing right now and you find yourself like avoiding doing that, maybe you don't want to invite, that makes you nervous, whatever it is that you put off, that actually should be the very first thing you do for the day. So whatever it is, everyone knows, some people love to invite, some people that makes them so nervous. But I know for me, when I talked to her today, I was like, okay, I know for me, every morning I need to wake up and I need to do, my follow-up should be one of my first things. The fourth thing is stay inspired. You're not going to feel excited, and you're not going to stay in this excitement stage very long if you are not inspired. One of my favorite things is, and this has to do with your coaches on your team, your customers, all of that. Again, it kind of goes back to like you could give your customers and your coaches all the, facts and figures of Beachbody and Shakeology and all this knowledge and information, but that's not going to motivate them. What's going to motivate them is you sharing your why. Here's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Here's what excites me. Here's why I decided to live healthy. Here's how much, weight I've lost. Here's how much better I feel. Like the posts that you're posting that are the inspirational, that like get to their pain points, those are the things that keep you going, not, Shakeology. I love Shakeology, but it's not going to be like the ingredients that inspire them as much as like what it's done for you. Things that help me stay inspired, Beachbody's Champions page, they always have really awesome things on there. If I'm feeling like, I'm not very excited right now, I'm just kind of feeling blah, I go to the Beachbody's page. They have a ton of little like 15-minute videos that people pop on there and post, and that always gets me fired up. I'm like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it. And then podcasts. Beachbody's has multiple podcasts that you can listen to. And if you want some of my favorite podcasts, I can send that to you too. So inspiration is really important. And then the most important, I think, of all of these, whenever I find that even myself, I'm starting to feel a little lost, or I'm starting to feel not excited or not motivated, I always think back, like, when's the last time I touched base with whoever that person is that I'm accountable to? So it'd be stay accountable. Be accountable to your coach. Again, be proactive, not reactive. So you want to create a habit that whenever I feel like I'm doing my best and I'm reaching my goals and I'm feeling really good about my days, when I go back to that, I feel like it's always when I'm the first to reach up to Z and say, okay, Z, here's my game plan for today. Like, my goal is this, my game plan is this. I'll let you know how it goes, or I'll reach out to you. And those days always go better compared to the days where I just get to work and I don't really like communicate. And then I reach out to her halfway through the day and I'm like, I'm at the mall shopping. So even myself, I'm like, okay, like I always kind of go back to like, when is it going well? It's being really accountable. Another thing I found too is share your goals with a lot of people, but only share your goals with, they say like never share your goals with only share your goals with a 16 by 20 thinker, not a 5 by 10 or like a 3 by 5. So there's people in your life that that are really like, you would tell them and they're like, yeah, that's dumb. Like, why are you doing that? That's stupid, blah, blah, blah. Like, those people in your life that just question it and just make you not excited. Don't share your goals with them. What you need to do with them is just show them. All they need to see is action. You don't even talk about it with them. Like, I have people in my life, I don't even talk about it because it's not even worth it. But the people you should share are your biggest supporters, because they need to know what you're going for. And for me, I even tell them, I'm like, hey, this is my goal for the month, or this is my goal for the week. I want you to ask me on Friday how I'm doing towards that goal. Like, I'll tell them, I'm like, my goal this week is to reach out to X amount of people, or to get this many challenge packs sold, or to sign on this many coaches. And I'm like, and on Friday, you're going to ask me. And then I'm like, oh no, now I have to do it. And so now I'm really competitive. So I love to be the first to tell them, like, okay, I did it. When I was brand new, I told Z I wanted to reach out to 20 people a day. And I said, at the end of the day, I want you to ask me, how many people did you reach out to today? But because I knew that she was going to do that, not only did I get it done, but I always wanted to be the first to tell her before she reached out to me. That was like my little contest.
And I felt like such a loser coach. I'm like, she's going to think I forgot to ask her. But I was like, it's not even like the end of the day. And she would always beat me. But I didn't know that was your strategy back then.
Yeah. Because, you kind of know the things that have worked for you. Because that's what I always say. It's like, I always kind of go back and I'm like, okay, like when I've reached goals before, or when I've done things I was really excited about, like I always kind of try to connect to like, what seemed to work for me. And I know for me, it's always that accountability, that competitive, but it's like accountability connected to something competitive. Mm-hmm. And that's major. And especially with the people, if you have kids, one of the best things you could ever do, I have an 11-year-old, is tell them your goal and connect your goal to something for them. So for Carter, if it's like a real small goal, I'm like, okay, mom's goal is this for the month. Like, what's something you could get excited for? And it might be something as like, we go out, to the movies, or you go to Target and pick out a Beyblade. That's his thing right now. So like his goal, like the things he loves, is connected to what I'm doing. So whenever I'm having bad days, I'm like, why am I doing this? Carter will put a picture of what he wants on our vision board. I'm like, okay, one year he wanted a trip, like a vacation, and so he had it up there. So every time I was having a bad day, I'd look up and I'm like, okay, I'm doing this thing. Carter, and they'll ask you too, like, Mom, he would get to the point, he's like, Mom, how many calls did you make today? Mom, how many people did you talk to today? You're like, and I would tell him, and he's like, that's not enough. So they'll keep you on track because it's like connected to something for them. And then the last thing is, don't be in 24/7. Like, you can never be, I can be a perfectionist myself for sure. Like, there's many things that I like to do well. I like to set really big goals. I'm very goal driven. But I was telling this to one of my coaches this morning. I'm like, us as women, I feel like we always have this pressure on ourselves that we need to be 100% in every single thing we do 100% of the time, always. Like, just the best of the best of the best. That's just, I think it's just what we strive to be. And first of all, it's impossible. It's impossible to be 100% all the time. I mean, there's no way. And that's what causes burnout. That's when you do burnout, because you're just trying to be everything for everyone. And you're just feeling like you're letting them down because you want to help them. You want to do things for them. And I think it's very, very, very important to make sure every day you're spending, a little time, like little breaks, like you should not have to work this 24/7. I've seen it myself, and Z's been really helpful for me because I am that person that can go 24/7 and just like be constantly. And she's like, no, you don't need to be working evenings. You don't need to be working weekends. And because if you do, first of all, you're going to work it halfway. You're probably going to halfway reach out, halfway follow up, because everything's just 24/7 on you. Whereas if you have pockets and you're doing it, you can give 100% in that pocket, and then you're done. You turn your phone off and you go give 100% to your family. But I think it's just learning how to compartmentalize rather than trying to be all the time. And then lastly, of course, don't quit. The only way to fail is to quit. Anything else, without struggle, there is no progress. Like, I tell myself that every day. Like, if I'm struggling, because I'm pretty new. There's still a lot. I have no idea. We're getting ready to run my very first challenge group. I'm like, all right, here goes. And I'm sure there's going to be days where it's not so fabulous, but without that, I'll never learn and I'll never progress. And so, I know the only way to truly fail is to quit, and other things that might feel like failures are just going to be lessons and help you grow stronger. So hopefully that was helpful.
That was so awesome. I feel like I got so much out of that, and I wrote down so much. Any feedback, you guys?
Yeah, that was awesome, Jen. Like, beautiful. I got a lot from that too.
I need to see the visuals. I missed that part, but it sounded awesome.
We recorded it so you can see them.
Perfect.
I feel like Kim, she's from the Paychex world. It's
okay, awesome.
It's like the 4 quadrants, but a lot better.
D2.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like there's so much more clarity on how to get through it.
I literally was thinking of one of my reps. I was like, can I have that visual for her right now? It goes into a little bit more in depth than
I can send it to you too if you want.
I'd love it.
It's on the video, but I can send it to you. Yeah, I love it. I love the what to do in each phase. And it's so funny you brought up the shopping because, stuff like that, we've all done it. I do it too. It's like I'll binge watch, and I'm not even a TV person, but it's like that avoidance, you're thinking, I just want to avoid that one thing I don't want to get done. What's really crazy is you do these things when you have the biggest goal on your plate. Like, there's nothing wrong with going shopping. I don't think you guys should not go shopping. But Jen's also got a goal on her plate, right? I'm going to share her goal with all these people because I know you guys are 16 by 20 and you do have that. You are her biggest supporters. We're all that way for each other. But she is trying to earn a really big trip this month. So it's like, and I did the same thing when I came back from Summit in July. I had this major moment of doubt that I'm not going to hit elite this year. And seriously, that was the first time I'd ever binge watched a show like this year. I'm just not a big TV person. And my sister was like, you should watch this show. And I started binge watching it because I didn't want anything to do with this goal that I felt like I couldn't accomplish. And then something happened as time went on. I felt like the calendar, like I had less time to work with, but all of a sudden I was like, no, I can do this. And so a lot of times it's like, as you set a big goal and you realize that goal is really scary and it almost feels like the goal is not possible, is when that avoidance starts to happen, because there's nothing wrong with shopping or watching a show at the right time in your life, but we purposely do it in those times where we have doubt, interestingly enough. But reaching out to someone, for me, I remember I asked Todd, I was like, I need you to start asking me how many people I'm talking to every day. And I need you to ask me every single day, because I felt like, okay, my husband knows this goal. He knows how important it is to our family, and I'm not going to want to let him down. So everything you said was awesome, Jen. That was great. You guys have some action items, and I'm going to be posting one more post tomorrow on our page. Tonight, I'm going to send you guys the Google Drive link, so you have that. Go ahead and scope all that out. There's a lot of good content on there. Let me see if there was anything else that I said I would send you guys. The coach emails, those will start coming to all of you. There's the Google Drive. That's all you guys need right now is the Google Drive. All of the word tracks are in there, and then you should have your book in the next day or two. That way next week we can start working through our books together. I hope that was helpful for everyone. If you missed part of the training or you didn't get to see it, please go back and watch the recording. I'll have it posted in just about 20 minutes after we get off the call, so you can see some of the visuals, because I walk you guys through the back office and everything you need to see there. All right, you guys, thanks for hopping on. Have a good evening.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Jen.
Bye.
Thanks.
Jen.
Bye.
Now I got, who else is on here?
Bye.
Lee, you jumped on. Emily, who's my 415?
Oh, I think that's my office line.
Oh, did
It's
you?
Lee.
Okay,
Yeah, apparently I'm logged in twice.
I'm glad you made it.
Yay, it was great. Good information. I love that chart.
I know. That was a big eye opener for me. I'll post the chart on our page too, you guys, so you guys have it.
You should print it and put it on your wall or on your fridge, so then whenever you're like having a moment, you just like walk over there and go, oh, okay, here's where I am, here's where I need to be.
Yep, I have a feeling I'm going to have all those moments.
We all do.
You guys have a happy Thanksgiving.
Likewise, thanks, Dee.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.